Welcome back to the Overthinking Podcast, the podcast that cuts through the noise, keeps it real, and helps you level up your health and fitness. No BS, just facts and fun.
And we've all been there, whether it's a vacation, a nasty cold, or a heartbreak, throwing us off our game. But today, we're talking about how to get back on track without the guilt spiral. But first, you have to join me in. But first, this or that. And the topic today is timely, but our question of the day is beach vacations or a city vacation?
I think I would prefer a beach vacation. I guess it depends on my vibe, but prefer beach vacation so that I can just sit and read a book and eat lemon pavlova and look at the water. But I feel like I get more from life if I'm going city, seeing different cultures. We like to travel and we do city on the front end, beach on the back end. So, ¿por qué no los dos?
Why? Yeah. Well, what's the term? It's why?
Why or when you can and?
Why or when you can and?
Yes.
And honestly, that is similar, adjacent to what my response is. If I had to choose one, I would say beach vacation because I probably need that from a mindset perspective.
100%.
Everybody needs a little bit of time to just let their brain relax.
Yeah.
But I really love city. And not necessarily in a city, but I love being having an agenda, touring around, seeing new things, going to new coffee shops, going to new restaurants, talking to different people, hearing different people talk. There's something about that liveliness that I really love.
Yeah.
But I probably need the beach vacation more.
Yeah, that's why I like to do both. I feel like it's so important to, there's a level of intelligence that comes with seeing other cultures and going to see how other people live and interacting in that way. Whereas, if you're just going to a resort in Mexico, you're not really getting the culture.
Right. And especially when you're staying in the walls. But I do like what you said of starting out hot when, the excitement's so high, get a bunch of steps in, try a bunch of new food, go, and then
veg out.
And then veg out and have that vacation from your vacation that usually we take when we get home.
So really this isn't a this or that. This is a why or when you can and.
Because the main topic today is how we get back after having a Hot Girl Detour. And I just got back from a trip. I was in Chicago for a week and this was a city vacation for sure. I turned it into a
bender
hotel room beach vacation because I was up to my ears in stress. So I actually spent more time out of the city and in my bed than actually touring around. But let's normalize it. Let's just say, let's just get clear. Every single person at some point is going to fall off. And falling off is obviously relative to how intense and urgent your goals are and how closely you're following your plan. But it's not failure. It's a detour.
Right. And I think that's the challenge is people tend to think that they fall in absolutes, right? If you're quote unquote falling off the wagon, then you're done for. You might as well throw the whole body away when that's not actually true, right? If your car needs an oil change, you don't throw the whole car away. You just take it to the shop when you can. So if we're making that analogy relevant, when you're ready to get back to the gym after a breakup or after a vacation, you don't just throw the whole body away. You don't throw the whole program out the door or baby out with the bathwater. You pick up where you left off or you adjust as necessary. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. So how to get back on track after you take that Hot Girl Detour.
So let's normalize it. Everyone falls off at some point. It's not a failure. It's just a detour. It's not a roadblock. It's a speed bump. But that doesn't happen unless you have the right mindset, right? When we approach failure as a failure, that's what it's going to be. But if you approach it as a learning opportunity, we can kind of right size our ego a little bit. That helps you take the right mindset. And there is a right mindset here. A lot of times we don't say there's right and wrong.
Yeah.
There is a right mindset after you've fallen off.
Right. The right mindset is you have to be flexible with yourself because the truth is the shame cycle is going to be worse than just the one instance where you fell off, right?
And that shame cycle we're talking about is if I come back from a trip and I don't have any food planned or any food prepped prepped and I'm like, I'm starving after my long flight, and I raid the pantry. I eat a whole bag of tortilla chips and Oreos and whatever. And
or
then
you DoorDash all your meals for the day.
Yeah, or the whole, and you're eating like 3 orders of pad thai. So then you wake up the next morning and you're like, oh my God, I just ate so many calories. I had this whole vacation. I feel so sluggish and gross. So then you start restricting your food. You start overtraining. You start talking bad about yourself. You start wearing oversized clothes. So we're going to cut all that shit right now. This is what you're going to do instead. The reality of falling off is that we need the mindset shift from 1, I ruined everything, to I'm just picking up where I left off. Chances are you probably pre-planned for this vacation, right? You got yourself ready with, body composition. You've been training really hard. It's been on your mind. So you knew this was happening. What we coach our clients to do is also prepare them for when they come back. And so stop waiting for the perfect Monday. We already have a plan in place of when your day's going to start or when your training's going to start. Ditching the all or nothing mindset. Progress is not ruined by a couple weeks off or even a couple of days off. But what it is ruined is if that shame spiral becomes 1 day, 2 days, 6 days. Now you've had a whole week of feeling like crap on top of the vacation where you really lived your life.
Right.
And
or
now,
some people that turns into months and years, which that's not inherently bad. Like, you just have to get real with yourself. Like, okay, I did this. I dug myself into this situation. All I have to do is begin again. Like, it's okay. It's okay to take time off. And I think people tend to think that you're going to lose everything you worked so hard for in even a few months, when the reality is there are studies where people who are hospitalized and are bedridden don't train for many months and still don't lose their muscle mass. So it really takes a lot and a long time for you to completely derail yourself. So a few weeks here and there is not a big deal.
And the research shows 4 to 6 weeks of minimal to zero activity is when you actually start seeing atrophy in the muscle. And that means you're not getting up, you're not walking around, you're not going for walks. And when you're traveling and vacationing, unless you're on that, fun beach vacation we talked about, you're probably walking and moving around the same, if not more. Because you're not sitting behind a computer, you're not working. So let's reframe it. Instead, what did this vacation do for you? Rest. It gave you a new perspective on life. Maybe.
And new motivation. You're stoked to come back to the gym.
Yeah.
There's been so many times, like when I was competing in powerlifting, that I got done with the powerlifting meets and I took a few weeks off because your body, from working so hard, you need that rest and recovery, that I was excited again to get back to the gym, to start my programming. But during the prep, you're like, I never want to be in a gym again. And anyone who's done any sort of competitions or sports even, you have a big game or you've done like a marathon or half marathon even, and you're just like, I'm sick of fucking running. I'm sick of fucking powerlifting. And that little slice of break is not derailing you. In fact, it's reinvigorating that motivation that you once had when you first began.
Right. This can also be an example of women or people, humans who get fit for their wedding. It's months and months and months of stress and decisions and being on plan and being rigid because one, society tells us to do that, but also 2, you want to look hot on your wedding and you want to feel great.
And that's great. We all want to look and feel good in our bodies.
I love when people have goals. And I actually want to use those. So when someone gets super, fit for the wedding and they're there, they show up, they're excited, then what happens after? There's probably a honeymoon coming up. They still want to kind of preserve things. So maybe they stay on plan. Honeymoon comes, they're like, fuck it, let's get crazy. We're married. All the stress is over. I want you to have that experience. I want you more than anything to let your yayas out and go for it. But when you come back, we are going to have a conversation and make sure that you are right-sized in your stress from the trip, from planning for the wedding, all the things, but also that you have a plan to get back into it. And so you were just talking about kind of like how to ease yourself back into your plan. So let's go through the actual action plan.
I want to touch on something first because I have a thought, and it's that I think when people, especially beginners, when we're getting into health and fitness, they tend to think of their health and fitness as black or white, or like, I'm doing strength training, Pilates, whatever it is, to prepare for my wedding. okay, that's a small sliver of your life. What about the rest of the 75 years that you're likely going to live? So maybe let's shift from, okay, this wedding is important. What do we need to do afterwards? And that's a lot of times where those like 12-week challenges go wrong, is it's like, okay, what's the after? How are you going to pivot? How are you going to pivot after the wedding? So instead of like thinking like, okay, after the 12 weeks, I'm just done.
Right.
No, you're not done. This is a train for life.
Yeah. What's your re-entry point?
Right. So like you and I both have a performance based approach where we teach our clients to focus on things that are within your control. So showing up to the gym, what things can you do? What's your body capable of? Do you want to work on deadlifts? Do you want to work on squats? Maybe it's hang cleans, whatever it is, let's get really good at those things. And that ultimately gets you to be consistent and adherent to whatever plan you're on, whatever activity you want to do and make part of your lifestyle. So that just like ultimately makes it more of a lifelong thing than just like a 12-week program, get ready for your wedding.
Yeah, and if you take the mindset of this is not a failure, this is very much a learning opportunity for me, then the next time you have a Hot Girl Detour, you're like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to get down on myself right now. I know that I have the confidence and the education and the personal experience to know if I fall off, I know I can get back on it.
Yep. And the self-awareness to be flexible with yourself. Like, I think so many people tend to be rigid when it comes to their habits and behaviors, instead of like, oh, yep, I did miss an entire week this week. That's okay. I can pick back up next week. So that's what we're going to get into today. So what's your action plan with getting back into the game? So first things first, I know you want to talk about this, so let's hear it.
I am highly, highly motivated to talk about this topic because there is so much shame and guilt woven into fitness of like, this is the right way and this is the wrong way.
Yes.
Any deviation from that, you suck. And I think this is so...
It just further perpetuates that shame cycle.
And it makes everyone stay confused, paying way more money than they should for fitness and health things, and bummed out at themselves.
Yep.
So we're going to give you the actionable tools that's one, going to help you navigate situations like this that are going to come up, especially with the summer coming up, and two, give you the mindset and the confidence that you don't have to be your worst enemy when you do fun things in your life.
Yep.
Okay. So here's the kind of broad strokes. So number one is start small, start now. Number two, ease back into movement. Number three, nutrition reset. Number four, set a short-term goal. Number five, accountability and routines. And then the last one, self-compassion check. So we're going to start from the top and kind of give you some tips and tricks for each one of these because every situation is different. Everything that's going to throw you off is a little bit different. For me, when I went through the biggest and most heartbreaking heartbreak of my life a couple years ago, the only thing that kept me in the gym was two things. One, the mindset that training was now a self-care practice. And number two, making decisions easy for myself. So what I would do is the night before, if I decided that I wanted to work out in the morning, like I was just going to be a morning workout person at this stage of my life because it wasn't happening in the afternoon and I needed to just make it happen. Yep. So the night before,
it goes back to that phrase that we've said before, eat the frog.
Eat the frog.
Do the hard thing first. Like even if it fucking sucks.
And you know
to
what?
Get up at 5 a.m.
Yes.
It's going to suck more doing it at 7 p.m. when you're tired, you're hungry, you just want to get home, take care of your kids, cook for your family, whatever. Do it first. Right.
Maybe training at night feels like an absolute no-go. Setting myself up for success at night before the morning?
Yeah.
Absolute amazing decision to do. So here's what I would do is I would put my AirPods in. When it was time for my bedtime routine, I would hard cut off at a certain time. I planned that time. Put my AirPods in, put my two favorite wind down songs on. By the time those songs were over, I was ready for bed. Brush my teeth, lay out my workout clothes. I would pre-mix my pre-workout in a shaker bottle, put it in the refrigerator, lay out my supplements in a little ramekin, and then I would even put my toothpaste on my toothbrush.
That's extra.
It's so extra, but so I would do all these things at night as part of my morning routine so that when I woke up in the morning, all I literally had to do to get myself to the gym was turn off my alarm, brush my teeth, drink my pre-workout, take my supplements with my pre-workout, get dressed in the hot girl outfit that I laid out for myself because everyone knows when you look good, you play good.
Lift good. Yep.
And so then the number of decisions I had to get to the gym were like literally zero. They were already made for me.
You're reducing barriers. So
that's kind of number one. Start small. Choose the thing that is going to help kind of get you back into your routine. It may be nutrition. It may be training. For me, once I kind of get my movement back, that's when my nutrition kind of starts to follow.
I also want to ask too, because you mentioned like you had a really tough time mentally after the breakup. So you probably had some sort of fitness program that you were following, right? Mm-hmm. So that ultimately too is going to help you stick to the routine that you already had set for yourself prior to the breakup. All you had to do was like read and follow. It wasn't of like, oh shit, I'm supposed to go to the gym at 6 a.m. What am I going to do? Maybe I'll just fuck around. No, you were like, okay, I'm going to get back to the plan that I was already following, even if it was a reduction in, you know, intensity or whatever. We'll get to that in a little bit. But you had something, like you had all of the barriers reduced or at minimum for yourself to set yourself up for that success. And that's not to say that you have to be perfect, but some is going to be better than none.
Yeah, that's a great point, because when your head is so filled with whatever is gotten you off track, your brain doesn't have room to be like, yeah, 5 a.m., let's decide if I should do hip thrusts or RDLs. No, the word that was in my mind during this time, I'm a big mantra person, was surrender. Mm-hmm. Just surrender. You're already at the gym. You have your program written for you by someone who you trust. Yep. And your workout playlist is already made for you, so you don't have to choose which song you like.
Let's hear the bangers.
Surrender. Just do the reps. It's going to take more effort for me to combat that than it's going to take me to just surrender and do the stuff that's written for me in the way that I know how to train. Yep. And if there's movement I don't like, switch it. Change it.
Or don't do it.
Skip it.
Yeah. Or just do body weight. Like, it doesn't have to be, 90%, 100% of effort. Like, it's better to do something, even if it's just minimal effort, than to not show up at all.
Yeah.
So that leads us to our next point, which is easing back into the movement. So it's your first workout back after the vacation, after your breakup, or whatever your situation has been. The recommendation we would say is to scale it back. So probably like 50%, or I like to use RPE. That'll be a whole topic that we get into.
Rate of perceived exertion.
So it's an auto-regulation tool that we use to judge intensity on a given basis. Whether you show up for your workout and you have a headache, it's just a way to regulate the intensity. So that could be something like an RPE 5 or 6, and that might adjust and fluctuate based on your energy levels. So if your first workout back, let's say breakup, we'll just use breakup as an example because that's what you talked about. You're going to give yourself an RPE 5 of all your exercise. So maybe you're used to
because I'm probably coming into the gym with a 5 out of 10 energy level.
Right. And you're probably not as well fed as you typically are. There's so many factors that play into how we feel. We're not robots. So we need to just adjust accordingly. So let's say your hip thrust usual is like 400 pounds, because I know you got a strong booty. 400 pounds. So maybe RPE 5, if you're thinking in like halvesies, so on a scale of 1 to 10, a halvesies would be 200 pounds. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to do that. It could be like 135, right? Like, it doesn't have to be this fixed intensity to get the effect that we want. Like, what matters is that you're showing up, I like to use the, I don't remember which scientist said it, but like object in motion stays in motion. I'm going to sound really stupid for not knowing the scientist that said that, but object in motion stays in motion, right? So if we can get the ball rolling again, you're going to have the momentum to continue. And then by week 3, it's now a habit again. And you don't have to think about it.
And you're back to your 400-pound hip thrust.
Boom.
Wham, bam. Thank you, man. I think what Kelsey also touched on was choosing the movements that you love, and you'll always put forth bigger effort in movements that you love.
For sure.
The other thing that we need to plant the seed on is you may be coming into the gym with a 5 out of 10 energy, but your brain can lie to you.
Yeah.
Your body might actually have more in the tank than you think.
More often than not, I find that I have the best workouts when I come in like, oh, I'm just going to go easy on myself today. And then I end up like Bulgarian split squatting with 75 pounds.
And that is what speaks to the warm-up rule. And we've talked about that a little bit on the podcast before, but our warm-up rule is honor your commitment, eat the frog, go to the gym, do your warm-up.
Mm-hmm. Show up first. That's the hardest part.
Show up first, do it.
Yeah. Even if you just do a body weight squat and you're like, if you get to like 2 exercises in and you're like, no, I'm out of here. Okay. Great. Then you really need the rest.
And the decision tomorrow is going to be so much easier to make because you're like, oh, well, I already did the first hard thing.
Yep. Totally. So
we talked about how you can be, most people are either like, okay, I get my nutrition on track and then the training comes, or vice versa. Like I said, we're both kind of like, get training back on track. Well, what are you?
What?
Like, are you more of like, okay, when I get back from a vacation, I'm more of like, let's fix nutrition first and then workouts will come? Or is it the other way?
I think I'm mostly simultaneous. I think my workout regimen is probably the most consistent no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a workout on vacation person, but I don't have to think twice. I'm like, okay, if I get back on a Saturday, Sunday is always a workout day for me. I don't think twice. I go.
Yeah.
Whether I'm doing 50% or body weight, whatever, I go. Nutrition is also definitely the harder one because Seth and I typically meal prep every Sunday, and that's a non-negotiable because we're both busy. My husband and I are both busy. He goes to an office. I'm in the gym. So I need to have meals. Otherwise, I'm fucked. Like if I'm working 5-6 sessions back to back, that's 6 hours that I'm not going to eat. And if I don't have food prepared to take with me, I'm so fucked.
What happens if you travel and you come back on like a Sunday night?
I would probably not because I'm strict like that. But if I was to get
She's saying that she would pre-plan, like she would choose her flights based on her meal prep
100%,
schedule.
100%.
But that's not everybody. So
anytime
if you were...
Seth has wanted to travel, or when we did our honeymoon, I was like, we're getting back on Saturday. That way I have Sunday to, like, it is a priority for me. And it has taken a long time for me to get to that place. Like I didn't start out that way.
Yeah.
So if I was to get back on a Sunday, let's think of a hypothetical here, and I don't have the ability to take off a work day, I need to get back on that Monday, I'm probably going to find a meal prep company where I can order a bulk protein at least. I'm going to have someone else cook the chicken for me or the steak for me or whatever. Even if you go to Chipotle and you're like, I would like 3 pounds of chicken, they're going to look at you sideways, but you're setting yourself up.
Yeah.
And you're like, I want 3 pounds of chicken and I don't know, 2 to 4 cups of rice. If you can just build yourself a meal with something that you can pick up or have delivered to your door, you're already setting yourself up far better than if you were just to be like, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to wing it on Monday, because that's going to be a bad time.
Yeah, and even if it's not Chipotle, like grocery stores like Whole Foods Hot Bar, Barron's Hot Bar.
A rotisserie chicken.
A big-ass rotisserie chicken.
Costco, baby.
Yeah, and actually Costco is the unsung hero of pre-prepped proteins.
Totally.
I'll put that on record.
They have the Kevin's Naturals.
Sausages.
They've got the little cubes of chicken, like already pre-packaged in little guys.
Like the pre-pulled rotisserie chicken.
Yep.
I did see that thing on TikTok where people like get a big rotisserie chicken and just like roll it around for like the meat to fall off, and then you pick out the bones. Ew. So I did that. It doesn't work. Don't do that. Okay. Just buy the pulled rotisserie chicken.
I definitely buy the pre-pulled.
So
I'm not touching that.
So say Kelsey's coming back from a trip on Sunday. Someone else booked these flights for her. Mm-hmm. What we might do is go on Instacart or some sort of grocery delivery and look for all of the pre-prepped options that we possibly can for protein. And we'd say, okay, calculate how many pounds of protein that you need. And then buy that. And worst case scenario, you don't get through it all. You freeze it. You have it for next week. The other thing that you touched on was prepping like meals. So if you're going to get a bunch of this like pre-prepped stuff and you don't have time to do a full prep, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner for every day. I would suggest just prepping your lunches, especially people like you and Seth who like do not eat all of your meals at home because you're out and about. You can kind of throw together a breakfast and a dinner once you're home, right?
I make my to-go breakfast every night before the next day, and it's the easiest thing in the world. It takes me less than a minute. I have little like containers. I make a overnight oats. I put in a cup of rolled oats, some protein powder, shake it with water, put it in the fridge, take it with me to go in the morning. So like there are easy ways. You just have to be resourceful.
And if you're not super crafty, or say you're like a parent and there's some things, other like variables going on where you're like, even that feels too hard, go on Google and research local meal prep company.
Totally.
Just go send them a message. A lot of these are like family owned companies that would totally help you and create something specifically for you, you know, especially if you give them a heads up. Like you book your flights at least a week or two in advance. Let's hope.
Right.
So I think that's great. the fourth, so we've gone through start small, start now, easing back into movement, and then the nutrition reset. Number 4 is setting a short-term goal. The reason why we need to do this is because you need to bring back excitement and fun back into your training. If you've been living in the shame spiral mindset, the end of your vacation and the last couple of days as you've been back, it is time to set a goal. It's time to get excited about something. So it could be like a new lift, like a different lift that you want to prioritize. It could be the same lift that you want to reprioritize. It could be a fun challenge, like Kelsey was talking about, some of these like Whole30 and 75-day hard. Like if you want to just like come back because you feel like you need like you need structure, sure, do those for a couple days. Yeah. Do something that gets you feeling excited.
Are they the best option? Maybe not, but it's going to get you back to movement, and that's what we want. That's the ultimate goal.
And if your goal in starting this whole plan was to look hot at your wedding or look hot during summer, break down that goal into smaller pieces. Because maybe that big goal isn't as relevant anymore, but pieces of it might still be relevant. Yep. So if you're like, what body parts do you want to improve on? If you're like, I wanted nice juicy glutes for my wedding.
Who doesn't?
Great. Now your primary goal is just to make your hip thrusts as heavy and juicy as you possibly can.
Yep.
And you go to the gym, you do your warm up, you do your hip thrust, and you're like, I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
You did it. You did the thing.
Yeah. And it comes back to that performance first approach that you and I both take, which is like, we're going to focus on things that you know that you can do, because those are the things that we can control, right? We can't control how quickly you're going to lose weight. We can't. Yeah. We can't predict that. We can predict the actions that you're going to do, which is showing up to the gym, the actions of, okay, you want to get better push-ups. Let's do push-ups. You're going to do those multiple times a week. You want to get a bigger booty. How do we do that? Like, we have to define that with actions. Bigger booty equals we need actions.
Yeah.
So what actions are you going to take to get the bigger booty? Probably hip thrusts, squats, deadlifts, whatever. Those are the performance first outcomes, or not outcomes, actions that we need to prioritize in order to get the outcomes that we want.
And I think it's great that you touched on those 3 movements, because again, compound movements, if you're short on time and short on energy, do some compound movements.
Yeah.
Because
my workout today was 30 minutes long. Under. And I did a hack squat, I did Bulgarian split squats, and I did like leg extensions, which isn't really a compound move, but I did 3 things and that was it. And I'm going to be sore.
The intent of your session matters.
Yeah.
So if you're only coming into the gym with a 5 out of 10 energy, but you give that 5 out of 10, for us as coaches, we would count that as a 10 out of 10.
100%. You're giving 100% of what you have available.
Yep. And then say in this workout, Kelsey was a time constraint, but if it was like more of like a mental constraint, she had an hour to train, but only trained for 30 and was like, oh, I'm done.
Yep.
She might be like, you know what? I could surrender and do maybe some calf raises. I could do some do
easier stuff.
Do some easier, isolation stuff, maybe some core movements, maybe just walking on the treadmill. But if you're like, this is all I got and that's how I feel satiated for the day.
Yep.
Great.
I also try to save my favorite workout for the hardest day for me. And for me, the hardest day is my Wednesdays, because I'm morning and afternoon sessions. So when I go in the middle of the day, I'm like, all right, I have under an hour to make this happen so that I can get home and eat and get back to work. So I save, and I'm usually pretty tired because I start pretty early. So I save my favorite day, which is shoulders. And it tends to be the fastest, right? Like, I'm not trying to commit to a really hard leg day on the day that feels the hardest for me. And maybe legs is the most fun for you. So like, if you look forward to that the most, do that on the day that feels the hardest.
And the people probably listening to this podcast are like, yeah, I want delts and glutes.
Yeah.
So we talked about glutes. What are your favorite shoulder movements?
Ooh, right now I'm really loving a shoulder press, and it's kind of the GOAT for me.
Any variation?
Just dumbbell shoulder press.
Back supported?
Overhead press. Yeah, 100%. Because I want to lift the most weight possible. I'm up to 45-pound dumbbells, and I feel pretty good about that.
You should feel pretty good about that. That was really impressive.
Spicy, yeah.
I think everybody listening to this should go do like an 8-rep max shoulder press and just kind of see where they're at.
I can't do 8 reps. I can do like 4 to 6.
Okay.
At 45 pounds though, that's a lot.
That is a lot. Actually, from the old OPEX days, one of the strength balance metrics was a 6-rep max per arm.
Okay.
And it was meant, like, the goal was to get a quarter of your body weight per hand for 6 reps.
So 45 is like a quarter of my body weight.
Exactly.
I don't know, math is hard, but it sounds about right.
Yep.
You
did start talking about, you kind of covered the accountability and routines, like kind of how you built those into your life, but maybe you can share like some things that people would be be able to use?
Yeah. I mean, one, use an accountability buddy. So find a friend, or if someone else in your group or in your circle that is also physically active and goes to the gym, text them, let them know, like, hey, I would really love the support. It's been really hard for me right now. A coach is also a good option for that.
Yeah. And as a coach who has heard thousands of people have this like bewildered, like, oh, I was off. I had missed all my workouts. Like I ate like an asshole. Telling your coach that you had a Hot Girl Detour is not an admission of guilt.
No, not at all.
It's actually an admission of commitment to your goals that your evolved self wants.
Yeah, and it takes self-awareness to be like, hey, I would love some support in this time that I'm feeling low. So the more that you hide from that, the more that you're going to waste your time.
Yeah. And most clients are like, oh, I don't want to waste your time. I was off. I'm like, it's not
That's
wasting my time. It's literally what I'm for. And it takes me all of 5 seconds to copy and paste your program to next week. And it saves me a program that I have to write next week. Trust me, we want you to tell us and we want you to be honest, because the longer you hide, like Kelsey said, the more time you waste and the more energy you give to that limiting mindset, that limiting belief that like, you aren't good enough. And look, you fucked up. And look, like, we're not giving her any energy. No, we're looking at this like evolved version of you that you created when you hired me, and we are still aligned to her.
Every decision should come from an empowered place. So
Period.
I didn't even have anything to say after that. I was like, I'm just going to launch this and see where it goes.
Exactly. Period. And the last one was exactly this, like self-compassion check. The thoughts in our brain largely, if not completely, dictate our outputs, like we talked about. So the inputs that we put in our brain, as well as the inputs from our actions and the tasks that we do to set ourselves up for success, that is what creates the output. And if you're someone who's listening to this and you're feeling super stuck because you got back from a vacation or a wedding or something that was really fun in your life,
and you're being a bully to yourself,
you
can't be a bully to yourself.
No, let us be bullies to you.
No.
Like, well, let them come and pretend like we're going to be this harsh accountability partner.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
we're not going to be a bully. We always want to lead with the positive and empowered position, but you definitely don't want to be a bully to yourself, because if you think about it, right, like if your friend is coming to you and they're like, yo, I'm a piece of shit, are you going to be like, yeah, you are? No, you're going to be like, hey girl, no, you got this. Like, how can I help you? How can I support you? Let's get back to it together.
Yes, let's break it down into smaller pieces. Let's just start with a workout. You want to get a workout in together? Oh, a gym workout seems too intimidating for you right now? Cool, let's book a Soul Cycle class.
Yep.
I don't care what your first workout is back after time off. I don't really care what exactly the meal was, but if you show up to the gym or class and you show up in the kitchen, you put something in a Tupperware that you thought out, you will be 100 times better than everybody else.
Yep. And furthermore, if you are stressing out about eating off track or eating on vacation, right? Like, use that as an opportunity to use that food for your next badass workout. Your glutes need food, girlfriend.
Yeah. And if you are feeling guilty, that still, I will say this again, it is not an admission of guilt. It's an admission of commitment to your goals. If you're feeling nervous or anxious or bummed out that you're like, oh, I'm falling off track, that means this path is for you. Let's just lower that barrier of entry.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's lower all of the obstacles.
Find your entry point.
Let's find our entry point and get that accountability buddy or program or thing that you can surrender to when you are feeling down or low.
Yep. You can even probably go to ChatGPT these days, and like, if you don't have any friends, I don't know who's listening to this and doesn't have friends, we'll be your friend. But if you don't have friends and you're like, okay, I need to find some sort of like external support, ask ChatGPT. It's free.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, I would love some support getting back into my routine. And if you just need like guidance on what to do in the gym, there's plenty of affordable programs out there, whether it's free. I have one. It's as low as $29 a month. I think you're in the process of making one as well. There's so many cheap, affordable options that don't require a big financial commitment or time commitment. You can work out as little as 2 to 3 times per week and still get, a lot of benefits from that.
Especially if you log your results and know how to progressively overload, which will be a topic coming
That'll be a whole topic. Yep, totally.
So let's wrap it up.
All right. So to wrap it up, life is always going to throw detours your way. Let's call it a Hot Girl Detour, because I feel like that, minimizes the emotional impact. It makes it more fun and friendly.
We mean all humans. Everyone can have a hot girl detour.
100%.
I don't care what your gender expression identity is.
It's 2025. You can all be hot girls if you want to. What matters is how you're going to pivot after that hot girl walk, detour, whatever.
I mean, a hot girl walk would be a great start, but let's rapid fire. Number 1, start small, start now. Don't just jump into some big extreme routine. Do one thing well today. Number 2, ease back into movement. If it's your first workout back, just scale it down or scale down the effort, intensity, or just choose movements you like. Number 3, nutrition reset. Start with hydration and protein first. Get out of the punishment mindset and just start with what you can control. Next, set a short-term goal. So whatever your big goal was that led into this hot girl detour, break it down into pieces and choose one thing that you can do really well that you can actually like manage right now. The last 2, accountability and routines. Choose a friend or a coach or program that you can just surrender to. Admit that you've gone off, get the plan to go back on, and start fresh. The last one is an inside job. You have to get right with your own mindset. This could be like doing a brain dump before you go to bed, where you just write everything that's on your brain for 3 minutes. It could be having a short conversation with a friend, but you do need to check what's going on in your brain and kind of right size any limiting beliefs that you're having.
And if you're coming off a detour, tell us what small steps you're taking today. Either DM us or tag us on Instagram. And next week, we would like your input. Should we talk about, for our next episode, programming and progressive overload, or should we talk about supplements? I know that's a hot topic. So.
I think people will always defer to like, tell me what to eat and what to do. But the reason why we want to talk about progressive overload is because that is truly like the key to achieving your dream body.
Right. And it doesn't mean a lot for a lot of people yet.
Right. And supplements is like that magic pill that people think is going to get you to your dream body.
Yes.
So we want to know which topic is going to be
let
most
us know
impactful
what
for you.
fuels your fire.
And until then,
we'll see you in the next episode.